I wanted to do today something specific on the parsha. The parsha we mentioned last time, the parsha has to do with basically where the tribes are and the numbers and stuff like that. But there's one thing that I wanted to talk about. It was like this. There's a medrash that says like this. The medrash says that when Klai were in the desert, so the umos ha'olam, the nations of the world, they looked. I guess the wise men, whatever, they went to the desert and they looked at the way they were camped with the degalim, with the flags. By the way, as a side interesting point, the Medrash seems to say that the originator of flags was Chumash. The idea of making flags to represent a country or a nation was from this parsha. So when they saw the way it was set up, the reaction to what they saw, and they looked over, and they come to the desert, and they go find the Jews, and they sit on their cover, and they come look, and they take a look at the way they were camped, and they looked at what was out there, and they were like blown away. They were like astonished. They were like, what is that? They were just like, who is that? They couldn't get it. Now, what is the big deal? Good organizational skills. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the deal that with the way it camped? Like, what was so special, but that was so unbelievable that the wise men of the nations of the world who went to look were just blown away from this whole thing? Can't be. So to answer that is the rare, maybe only time that I actually use paper.
What?
I know, right?
Besides for the
But it's not, and
they don't get how much
it's not even blank. There's actually on the paper. Right? So you don't have to use
this. You guys
this.
don't understand how rare this occasion is right now.
You don't have to use it.
It's the third time.
But if you want to use it, you're welcome to use it.
That mishmar was all used with wool and stuff.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You say mishmar. You can pass these around.
That's right.
And treasure these forever.
Not a Kohen. It's
Yeah,
fine.
they come to shop.
It's fine. Here, you take here. Give that guy over there.
Wait, what do I do? Do I put this in the head?
We'll take this on. Do this on. All the way.
I did.
Alright.
Gentlemen, three.
What? You don't have to. Alright, now, the picture here, this computerized picture, this three-dimensional, drawn to scale,
Wait, that?
super advanced computerized picture over here.
That was the big deal?
Yeah. Actually, I drew it with my hand. It's pretty good, no? Has basically the way that the Psukim describe the camp of Klaisel. What's the box in the middle?
Mishkan.
Box in the middle of the Mishkan. So you have on the eastern side Yisachar, Zvulun, and Yehuda. And Yehuda was they're all called the tribe of Yehuda, the side of Yehuda. Then the south you have these three, and then the west, and you have the north. You have all the things that are set up over here. Now, inside that, the outer box are the various tribes. Between the little box inside, which is the Mishkan,
It's not. It doesn't mean. It's just like Yehuda is just to the east of the Mishkan. He wasn't.
No, this
always
is
east. Was he always on the? Saying if they were going north, was he on the right side then?
that's machlokas. That's machlokas when they traveled, how they worked. Whether they all lined up in a straight line and they made formation again when they camped, or they actually traveled in a box. That's machlokas.
Travel in a box for sure.
But even if they travel in a box, did the box turn?
How would it work?
Because I remember I don't remember which one. One of these. I think Binyamin maybe was supposed to be behind and pick up the stuff.
Done. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go through things. Now, in between the box in the middle, which is the Mishkan, and the boxes on the outside, which is Klaisel's campment, what was in between the two?
Sheva Levi.
Levi was in between the two. How far was it between the Mishkan and the Shvatim?
It was like 2,000 amos.
2,000 amos. They can come on Shabbos. Right? Within 2,000 amos, you can walk on Shabbos. Otherwise, you can't come on Shabbos. Now, so Shevet Levi was in between. I not put Shevet Levi on the thing, so I'm not going to talk about Shevet Levi. Because they're whatever. But I will talk about... How's it go? You have the north. How's it go? If I remember correctly, I didn't write it down, but I'll just tell you about past time. If I remember correctly, the west was Gershon, the south was Kahas, yeah, and the north was Merari. Shevet and Levi had three children. They descended into three sections of the tribes of the Shevet. So the west was Gershon, the south was Kahas, and the north was Merari. What was in the east?
Dakota.
The coastal is the western wall. Whatever. Yes.
Isn't it Israel?
Kotel HaMa'aravi.
Ma'arav is west.
What
What
are we done?
was the last time you were there? You could have been towards Israel.
That's what I meant.
Whatever, it's all confusing. Shut up, that.
We're on the opposite side.
Oh, so on the eastern side was Moshe, Aaron, and his sons. Moshe and the Kohanim. Moshe, Aaron, and his sons on the eastern side. So that's it. Those are three in the middle there. Okay, fine. Fine. Again, I'm not going to deal with those. By the way, which side was the Kodesh Kodashim on in the box? I did not put a line for the Kodesh Kodashim.
North. No, wait. It was.
Can't be north. It's
Yeah, no, you got that.
It'd be the top or the bottom of it.
Right next to the west.
East.
So east or west?
Right in front of the
Yeah,
west.
I'm going with east.
Kotel HaMa'aravi.
Right
They still
from
get it.
the
These guys.
west,
These guys still get it.
What do you mean, Colin? No.
I said
That's nothing to do with it. Mishkan was traveling.
That's no, Enochanami. But the Mish, in the Beis Hamikdash, which side was the
west.
Kodesh Kodashim?
Right in front of you.
On the western side. The opening of the Oil Moed was to the east, is where Aaron and Moshe, Aaron and his sons were. Okay, that's the camp. Now, I'm going to go through I want to talk about each Shevet and what their koach of the Shevet was, and a few other things for the Shvatim. I don't have everything, but whatever I have. And then we'll see when we put the pieces together what we're going to come up with. Okay? All right, now.
Why do you get the better one?
I got one paper.
Yeah, you get a paper.
Think I get one?
Let's get a
Paper.
paper.
Wait, are we gonna
Pass
write
it
down
down.
stuff on it? So we're supposed to write down?
If you want, it's up to you. You don't have to use the papers. I mean, it's gonna. If you, like, it's gonna. I'm gonna say it out, but if you see it in front of you, it's helpful.
Were they in boxes or
Let's make
in
it to our
circles
camera.
around the thing?
What? To hold it to the camera, they can see. Yeah. What?
Were they in boxes like this?
How you guys doing? What?
They're each in boxes?
They were in boxes, yeah. Yeah.
You got
Nemesis. The truth is, let me see the picture here. The truth is,
But then the corners are open. Why would you like? That's just
yeah.
weird.
See, I think the animals were in the corners. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Okay. Okay. Now the information I'm going to come to you is going to come from a number of sources. It's from a Droshim. It's from the Nechai, whatever, the Law, and other things. I make up half of it. What?
Where's the Rav Rav?
Erev Rav.
Yeah, Erev.
The Erev Rav are not in the box.
Where were they?
got kicked out.
Behind the
They're
west?
out of the
Or are
box.
they behind the
I don't know.
north? Or
I don't know where they camped, but they're outside the box. I don't know where they are.
It's yeah.
All right. You want paper? You have paper.
Sharon.
You share paper? All right. All right. We're going to start with the eastern side. Okay. Well, let's start like this. What is the? Let's call it the trait, the koach, the job, the power, whatever word you're going to use of Yehuda. Let's see.
Lion.
Malchus. Right. The idea, the trait of Yehuda was Malchus. That's Yehuda's job. So they need to be the leaders, the kings, etc. This pasuk. Fine. The truth is that if you make a study of it, you could compare Yaakov Avinu's bracha to all the Shvatim, line it up with Moshe's bracha to all the Shvatim, and you line up what was told, what was said to them, brachas given to them, parts of Eretz Yisrael, which great people came from them, and mainly you'll see each Shevet has sort of a common denominator, like running through the entire system. Okay.
Still now?
What?
Still now? Now still?
Now still, you have all the Shvatim around, just most, we don't know who they are. So.
Yeah, but you still see like, these things in shape
Yeah,
now, or
right.
and like.
You're saying look at
Just would know.
Maybe, we'll look through, we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so Malchus, now it's not going to fit, it's not going to help for all these things. Not everything there is going to be here. Okay, so Yehuda's Malchus. Okay, good. Now Yisachar, and everyone knows this. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, one second. Each one also has a sign and they have a color. Now the flag had a color in it, and the picture of some kind of a picture on the flag, and the Choshen, their stone in the Choshen, was the color of their flag, and it went together. Okay, so Yehuda again was Malchus. The sign was what?
Lion.
The lion. That's why all the benches around here have lions on them. And the color was sky-like.
Is it? Really?
Yeah,
Sky
Min
blue.
Shemaim. Sky blue. I guess.
Sky blue.
It was-
No, the Lions.
Not the color.
The Lions is.
What?
The Lions is really because you do that.
Why they have lions in the streets here? Yeah.
Do they have it in other areas?
No, I don't think so. It's Yerushalayim. Yeah, I think it's a Jerusalem thing. Each city in Israel also has a certain sign to it. They're not the same.
Isn't like half Yerushalayim or something? Is
So they share on water. Part of it.
Okay, next. Yisachar. What's Yisachar?
Box.
It's
Oh,
black
no.
with the
What's Yisachar's? Picture?
It's a boat.
What? No.
It's a donkey.
Oh, they have a thing.
That was Spoon's boat.
We should make a blow copy from that. Remy. Make a
Uh,
blow copy from that.
Yeah, they
Oh,
can't.
so let's see if it matches up. We'll see if they match up with myself. Tell me if there's differences. Well, you know. Wow, how'd they get a picture, the satellite picture of that? That's pretty cool. All right. Yisachar is what? Yisachar is what?
oh, wow.
What's their thing?
There's a band.
Oh, whoa.
Hello? No. What's Yisachar?
Slave.
Donkey.
Yeah, what's the job first? The job. What's the call?
Learn.
Learning Torah. Torah is Yisachar's thing. Their sign was the sun and the moon,
Yeah.
and their color was a black similar to blue, like a midnight blue or something like that. Very dark blue, navy blue, whatever it is. He says black, similar to blue. That's what it says. Is that Mark? Tell me what this difference is.
Black and blue?
Navy
Ronnie,
blue.
should I get you some crayons? You can make the color. Okay, next, Zvulun.
Oh, here's the boat.
Then it says, if you look at the Benuchai Mamish goes through in Tetzaveh, he goes through each stone, the name of the stone, a lot of the stuff is also from there, like the color, and why that's each stone has a certain power to it. He says everything the power, and how everything, he can match everything in. It's like unbelievable.
What's the color is weird.
Everything matches up. I'm telling you, everything is a reason why it's like that. Okay, Zvulun.
Spoon's the workers.
Zvulun is wealth, and their sign is the boat, because they were merchants, and the color is.
Green, money.
So the emphasis is you're right, but you're wrong.
Sailor blue.
It's because of the color of money, but it's not dollars.
Gold.
Oh.
No, money.
Silver.
Silver. White. He says white. He says that white is like silver. Right? Is that there?
It's good.
So far, so good?
Money,
Cool white.
Okay, fine. So again, Torah, Yehuda's Malchus, Yisachar is Torah, Zvulun is wealth. Okay. Now, if you put those three together, what is the power of the eastern side?
We got kings making money and learning.
What is the power of the eastern side?
Power. Like
What is the koach? What is the
It's actual
role
power.
of the eastern? How does Torah and wealth fit in?
King, wealth. If you have too much
Leaders,
wealth, you're
leaders, all
powerful.
leaders.
If you're a king, you're powerful.
King
If
is a
you're-
leader.
You're not saying it right.
Money is the leader.
You gotta
and
put
money is
think of
the rabbi.
think of each role, but it's got you say wealth, but there's when Zvulun had wealth, it wasn't stam wealth. Each thing had a job to it.
It's a three different types of
What?
power.
You're making it up. You're just taking the threesome, and putting it in here.
It works.
Why Gemilas Chasadim?
Because Usher.
Because Sas has a villain.
What's it? What?
Because he gives out wealth.
Okay, what does Zvulun do with his money?
He
Oh,
has
he
to
gives-
suffering.
Not to Chesed. It wasn't stuck. He didn't go to hospital. Okay, so again, what is the power of the east?
They help each other.
Shared
What?
Social.
Torah and
Give me one thing. Put the common denominator between Yehuda's Malchus, Yisachar's learning, and Zvulun's wealth. Put them all together.
Torah, but they must have
Together they
Where is
make
Gemilas
one
Chasadim? Same thing. We just had this. Watch the recording. Where's
Together
Gemilas
they make
Chasadim?
unstoppable
thing.
force.
Where's Gemilas Chasadim here?
Giving money, is that goes to Saddam?
What did he use it for?
He gives you something.
To support him.
It was to wasn't for tzedakah stam. He didn't give it to an
He gave
orphanage.
the call, guys. It's something.
Together they make one strong army.
No, together.
They're all
Invite him.
leaders.
Together they make one strong army.
What are you talking about?
But he's
That's
got
my
the
concept,
power,
right?
he's got the money, and he's got the
You got a
brains.
world-class economy.
Again, what is What is Zvulun's wealth?
Merchant.
What did they do with the milk? With the wealth?
Yeah.
Zvulun came back from their business trip. They made $100,000 and they gave $50,000 to Yisachar. They didn't give it to stock organizations, hospitals, orphanages, all good ideas. That's not what their thing was. They gave it to. It's not chesed. It wasn't chesed. It was a business deal. Partnership is not a chesed. It's a business deal. If Yisachar doesn't learn properly, Zvulun has a taina. And if Zvulun does not pay up his 50%, Yisachar does. There's a partnership.
So it's them.
Okay.
So putting all three together, Yisachar is what?
Learning.
Learning Torah. Zvulun is what? Supporting Torah.
Yeah.
And what's Malchus?
Supporting the country.
Protecting Torah.
It's back supporting also, not financially, enforcing Torah.
And that's what he
What's the
said.
job of the king? The job of the king is to make sure the country's running according to the Torah. That's the job of the king. Whatever has to get done, there's wars, there's taxes, all this stuff to get done. And if you break the rules, which are based on who makes the rules, not the king. The king is not the one who makes the rules. The Sanhedrin makes the rules. He may make the rules that are outside the realm, how much taxes take, I don't know, whatever, I don't know details. But even going to war, they had to go to the Sanhedrin first, or the Tumah, those rules, how to deal. They went to the Torah. So the ones who made the rules for the generally was based on the Sanhedrin, based on the Torah. The Malchus enforced the law enforcement. They enforced what the Sanhedrin taught aside. The Sanhedrin give up psak, and then the king would come out and you don't listen, you're going to hit you. That was their
Torah
power.
society.
So the eastern side, the power of the east is
Torah society.
power of Torah society. Torah. That's the power of the east. You have the learning of Torah, there's the financial support of Torah, and the enforcement of Torah. That is the eastern side is the power of Torah. Next, south. South. Reuven, it says, is the power of tshuva. Where do you find Reuven as the power of tshuva?
No, when he switched the beds.
Right, same thing. Right. So then, therefore, he spent the whole rest of his life in tshuva. It says, Reuven is tshuva. His signs are what? The flowers, the dudaim, and the color is red. What's the color of the dudaim is red?
What is Dudaim?
Dudaim are those flowers that he brought his mother,
Oh.
and the color is red. Shimon, it says, is busha, shame. His sign was Shechem.
What?
Busha, bees, vav,
The
shem,
thing was busha throughout the years, they have to have busha?
This is what it says, that Shimon's power was busha, shame.
Power?
His
What was Reuven?
koach, I don't know what to call it. It's koach, his essence,
What is it,
his
they have to live
trait,
busha, or
maybe.
it's like a-
I'll get there, hold on. Busha is, Shimon's busha. The sign was Shechem,
What does that mean?
and the color was green. Green? Okay, so far so good.
Wait,
Not really.
Well, it's not
This
green?
one, I think this one says Reuven's in the middle.
Could be in the middle.
Hey, what does it mean?
Reuven, could be Reuven is in the middle. That would be true.
Maybe, unless
Maybe my order is wrong. That could be true. It could be also, there could be that Dan is in the middle of that one, and Ephraim in the middle. It could be the order is not right. So you could change the order. Now, on each side, Yehuda's in the middle of the top one. I didn't do the order right. Yehuda's in the middle of the top one. Reuven's in the middle of the southern one. Ephraim is in the middle of the west, and Dan's in the middle of the north. I didn't do the order right. Yeah,
What's Shechem?
we're gonna get there. Hold on. But why Shechem?
How's that a sign?
How's us?
How do you
Because of
draw
what he did.
that?
I don't know. How did you draw the picture of Shechem over there? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, the color's green. Fine. Next.
Reuven is in the middle of the side one?
Yeah, they're all. I did it wrong. According to the thing, which I'm assuming that's accurate. There's only one of these that I know is a source with Dan's in the middle. The other ones I'm not sure if it's in the middle.
It's not
I'm
our
assuming they're
scroll,
true.
so
I don't know.
mostly.
I don't know. Fine. That makes it the ones sources that I saw didn't talk about. That was the source I saw did not talk who's in the middle that I've seen it that I remember seeing.
Oh,
Fine.
it's back, right?
Next, God. God is strength, but specifically strength in tshuva. Gvura, which is gvuras tshuva. Gvura in tshuva. The sign was machaneh. Thank you. And the color was a mix of
Pink and yellow?
Black and yellow.
no, not black and yellow.
Nah,
What
I'm
talking
kidding.
It's black and yellow. That is.
Song.
Oh. What's God? A mix of
Blue and purple?
blue and white.
Oh.
They were the Israelis. Blue and white.
So what?
God that they have there?
You look gray here.
It says a mix of blue and white. I don't think mix means
kinda like
you mix the
blue.
colors and you don't have either. You have I think it's a. I don't know how it works, but I'll imagine, yeah, blue and white somehow together.
It's like dark blue drawn on white. It's a-
Here's the picture.
And you should show the picture.
I think it's better than
Show the
the
picture
story.
for the camera so we know what we're talking
That's what we're
about.
doing here? God, where's God?
on the left top.
Yeah, no, I switched the page because now the
Shimmy,
little guy is
sitting
like
there. Shimmy.
page
Yeah,
four.
that is like.
That was like right cut off.
Oh, I see it's like a grayish color.
We took
Maybe
it.
show the camera, show the camera.
How come we took their colors as
I
our?
don't know.
Maybe show the camera. They don't know what
Okay,
we're talking
that's
about.
fine.
Fine.
Okay, so again, Reuven is tshuva, Shimon is busha, and God is gvura in tshuva. What is the sign of what is the power of the southern side?
Tshuva.
Tshuva, that's pasha. There's 3 steps to tshuva, right? A person has to do it to acknowledge what he did wrong. He has to feel bad what he did, and has become not to do it again. So that's Reuven, Shimon, and Gad. Reuven is the tshuva is acknowledging. Busha, shame is I feel regret of what happened. I feel terrible what happened, and God is the gvura in tshuva is being strong not to overcome, not to fall again, to overcome next time for the future. Okay, so the east is the Torah, the south is tshuva. Next, west. Now here's a bit of a problem. There's a technical problem in the west. The technical problem is that when I initially made the paper and then I photocopied it, the bottom of the thing got cut off. So, yeah. So I can only tell that I have written down here, maybe I'll fill in the blank on there, because part of it's cut off. And I never went back and refilled it in again. But let's start with again. You have Ephraim. Now the Emes says it did not say also. I'll tell you, it did not say the power. I don't remember seeing the power of each thing in each one over here also. I'll tell you what I have, and then we'll just work with that. Ephraim is a shore, is an ox, and the color. I don't know the color. All the colors got cut off over here. What was the color of Ephraim? Black. Yeah, black. Are they all black?
Menashe is also black, and then Yemen's like
Colorful rainbow.
Okay, all the colors. All the colors. Okay, so Ephraim and Menashe are both black. Ephraim is the ox, is a shore. Menashe is a re'im, which is this big, strong mountain goat. It's like where it describes like this powerful mountain goat. And those are both black. And Binyamin is the wolf, and his color is a mix of all the other colors.
Wait, so what's their thing? What you say they're black, their thing is...
So I don't have it down. It could be where I got it from, doesn't say.
What?
It could be where I got this from, does not say each color. If I really wanted to do it properly, I did this years ago, I would go back to Ben Chai again, I go back to Midrash again and put in each stone, the power of each stone, a lot more details, I just didn't do it, I never went back to it. Okay, fine.
When did you do this?
What's their thing?
Oh yeah, it's
What is each of their things?
like a bit.
So I don't have divided up each of the things separately, if I'm with black, but this power of the West is Gvura. Strength. Ezo Gibor? Where's that?
The one who becomes
Where's that?
Mishnah, wait, Parak 6. Mishnah. I knew this!
I know, right? You learned it yesterday, didn't you?
I'm not up to there yet.
Not up to there yet, but what are you up to?
I'm up to the 5th parak.
You passed it already.
I know.
You said 6 parak, you said you would pass
Fourth
your-
parak. Ezo Gibor, Kovesh es Yisro. Right? Now this is a little different than God. God is where it's within the tshuva not to do it again type of thing, whereas Menashe is initial strength. Alright. That's the side of the West. And Emes says all the animals apparently are strong animals, devouring animals,
What's the
powerful
name
animals. Is the wolf, and the color is all the colors.
What's the power?
Yashve, that's the stone. Huh?
No power.
So I only have the combination together, not each separate one over there.
So what's the power of all of them together?
There's a Gvura. Okay, now we go to the north. It's a little weird what it says here, but I'm just going to tell you how it says it.
So it was a deer, right?
What Zev is a wolf.
Naphtali,
Oh, Naphtali, not there. Hold on a second. So, yes, that's Naphtali. Naphtali, his sign, I'll do it back. I'm going to start with Dan.
Snake?
Dan, now this is hard to say what his power is. The power doesn't work here. I don't know how to put it together, but I'm going to say what it says that in the either Shla or Midrash, wherever I got it from, or Ramban, I forgot where I got it from. That Dan, it says, look, it's like this way. They were the first. Well, what is Dan known for in history?
For knocking off Esau's head.
That's Chushin. That's Chushin. That's specific thing. But Shevadan. The tribe
For
are.
the Arab, like they were behind, they were like the last ones.
They were
that-
last.
What are they known for? I'll get back to that in a minute. That's true in the camping part of it. But in Bichlal, in the history of Klal Yisrael, what is Dan known for? You can Google it. No, joke. What is
They were
Dan
the
known
army?
for? Yeah,
Oh, the army.
that was in Dan. It's worse than that.
Fast running.
It's worse than
No,
that.
that's Naphtali.
Didn't Dunn, like all the bad stuff came from Dunn?
So the Dan was, they were the first one. Right, when Yeravam set up 2 golden calves, they were both in Dan. No Shiv would take it except for Dan. Dan was the beginning of Hazara, which was the downhill slide to the
That's why I
destruction.
didn't know.
Really?
So Dan, I don't know how you say it. You can't see the koach of Hazara, but what is the weakness of Hazara? Tendency? I'm not sure what to call it exactly.
Their weakness.
They just like to worship.
Well,
So
that's why they have
like
their
to worship
side,
God.
their
They
si-
took the idols to worship Hashem.
That's true, but you see, it was a
Just
pesach
like
of
to
wrong
worship
things. The sign is, everyone knows, a snake. Could be also the nachash. And the color is similar to sapphire.
It's blue.
No, sapphire is like a whitish. Isn't sapphire? Like,
Sapphire's a very
oh,
deep
bluish?
blue.
Right after sapphire.
It's a very deep blue.
What is
like-
blue?
Navy
Okay.
blue. Man.
So it's different than the other one. Okay, next. So because that's done, so Asher's sign is olives, because what do you do with olives back then? Not now that it comes to a salad. Back
Oil.
then, olive oils, you light up the darkness that Dan has. So that Asher is sort of going to counter Dan with the olive oil. It's to light up the darkness, that's what it does, and its color is tcheles. A lot of blue things here. Color of tcheles. And Naphtali is a sign of bracha, also to counter Dan. It's its sign is the ayala, is a female deer, and the color is diluted wine.
Argama.
Yain salul, diluted
What
wine.
is the family sign?
Bracha. Oh, the sign. The sign is ayala, is a female deer. A female deer.
thing is to light up.
It's called of Asher to light up the darkness, and of Tali is bracha, both of which to counter the call it problem of call it done. Now, it does say, by the way, that it says that the first one. Let me say one more thing. I'm not going to go into it because I said before I'm not going to do it with the Shvatim, but once just to mention it, the middle part, Gershon Kassim Merari with the Shevet Levis, I'll just mention to you that their sign of Levi is what? The Ur V'Tumim, and their color is white, black, and red. Which flag that is?
Sick.
It's awesome.
Why? What color is that? What missing with a
That
flag?
would be as a black and red. It's like
Yeah, black and red is really
It's
cool.
really like skater time.
Okay, fine.
Levi's what?
Levi is Ur V'Tumim is the sign, and their colors white, black, and red. But I'm not going to deal with Levi so much. Okay, so now if you put all that together like this, the eastern side is Torah, and the pasuk says they go first.
Wait, what was the north? The whole north?
Oh, what's the power of the north side? What's the combination of the north side?
Blue.
Snake.
What's the combination of the north? So you have Dan, you have Asher to light up the darkness of Dan, and Naphtali to give bracha against the darkness of Dan.
Shuva.
So the side of north is
Take people out of the darkness?
Against darkness.
darkness. Dan is the problem, and they're trying to counter it. The side of darkness is the side of the north. Now, if you look at it like this, side of Avodah Zarah, darkness, which goes. So if you go to the eastern side, it says goes first. Because the east side is the side of power of Torah. Power of Torah goes first. You got to live your life by the Torah. That's the first thing you do is follow Torah. Lamaisa, we're human, and therefore the second, it says when they travel, eastern goes first. Who goes second? The southern side. Why? Because the southern side is the side of what? Of tshuva. So nice. So you could be, Torah is great, but Lamaisa we mess up. So tshuva comes second. Then you had the third is gvura to help you follow through against the first two. Is west, and then the north. It's interesting. It does not say that Dan and the last goes fourth. How does it say in the pasuk? They go first. They go second. They go third, and then Dan goes last. It says not fourth, because because the fourth in line.
Well, why would they say it's the last one anyway?
Okay, and then the Chumash just makes the point that it's last because since that's the Avodah Zarah, so goes always last.
But they weren't doing Avodah Zarah yet, so why
No,
would
Avodah
you?
Zarah
I
shouldn't
can't
be
say.
there
I say
at
you want
all.
to say it's a trait of weakness that they had. You want to say there's a what you call it? And that's why you can't say it's a power of Danas Avodah Zarah. It makes no sense. So I guess it's called weakness. Okay, now. Okay, now. So again, so you have the eastern side is Torah, the south is Tshuva, the west is Gevura, and the north is darkness.
Where does the gear go?
We asked this last time. We asked before, where's Erev Rav? And
Erev
in the
Rav.
future times, where does Gerim go? Not clear. I'm not sure where they go. They don't fit any of the Shvatim.
Cornish.
Yeah,
All right.
Or left.
That's from the animal.
But you have to be a carpenter
No.
there, so maybe they should bring them in.
They don't fit. We had a Ger that tried which Ger tried to come in.
You sure?
What's his face? The guy who got killed.
The guy, he tried to come in, and they don't belong here. Where do they go? I don't know. They don't belong within the thing. Why they don't belong in the thing? Maybe we'll see why. Okay,
You're
next.
supposed to like
Okay, but they can't be inside. You can bring them in, but they can't be in the box.
Then you mamish not carving. You just keep them outside.
Okay. If they don't come to Shem Shemayim, we're not going to work with them. If they come to Shem Shemayim, Mechar Yisrael, where do Yisrael live? I mean, at the time he was there. I don't know. I guess if they come to Shem Shemayim, they won't mind. They understand that they're not. If you don't know why you don't take them in, so you have to wait till afterwards. All right, now we mentioned in the past that everything in this world, what is everything about everything, has a spiritual force above it that makes it exist. Right? That means you have a table, right? So there is a spiritual force that makes the table exist. What makes that force exist? A spiritual force above that's more spiritual than the next one, and that one makes that one exist. Right. What makes that one exist? Because above that is another one that's more spiritual that makes that exist. Okay, all the way up. There's thousands of angels, and there's fine. Now, if you climb up the ladder, let's call it, of the eastern side, the side of Torah, if you go up the ladder of the eastern side, you're going to get to the spirit. I don't know if the order is right. The spiritual roots. If you travel again, water also. Water, everything has a spiritual roots that goes up. If you follow the eastern side up, level after level, you will get to the spirit, to an angel, a force. We're going to call it angel, for lack of a better word, but somewhat of an angel or force. That is the spiritual root of fire. That's going to be on the eastern side. Now, why is fire on the side of Torah? First of all, you find Torah is called fire. Right? Where do you find Torah is called fire?
So Torah's water. Torah's water.
Torah is compared to water. It's also called fire. Ish das lamo. It's fine. Torah is called fire. Why would Torah be? It's also the side of din. Torah goes together with ish. Fire goes together with din. Din is not necessarily bad. Din is exactly what's supposed to be. Torah is perfection. So that's din. That is exactly what's supposed to be. There's no niceties. This is how to live. Period. End of discussion. This is what you do. This is what you say. This is what you think. That's it. That's Torah. Now we mess up, so we'll get to tshuva. But ideally, that's how it's supposed to go. The ones who are holding, spoke in the past, on the higher levels, people who are great enough, God deals with them on the midah of din. That's what you're worthy of. Rabbi Akiva was dealt with on the midah of din because he was worthy of achieving that level. Again, we need tshuva because we're not holding for it. But ideally, ultimate pure Torah, titin emes liYaakov. Yaakov represents Torah. It's total emes. There's no wishy-washiness and being nice, garnish. Exactly what you're supposed to get.
What do you mean, Rachman?
That is a ish.
Emes can't do with Rachman?
It's a bit of a contradiction. How it goes together is a kasha.
So it's God. He put it together.
Okay, but God's merging two things. But in the pure side of Torah is without. It's pure. It's no chesed. Emes is exactly what you're supposed to get. Ideally, that's what it's supposed to be.
On chesed, we want everything together.
That could be true. The fact that the world needs all three, but nebuch because the world needs all three.
But no, that's how it was created. That's
not how it was created. How did God create the world?
Emes?
When God created, we're supposed to put this way back. Remember back in the beginning of the year, which was about 4 years ago. How did God create the world? With the midah of Elokim, din. Only after it was all done, then it says Hashem Elokim. You have to add Riachimim to the din because you can't do by din. So God left the midah of din for those who are worthy of it. That was the ideal. The best is only din. Because then you come to get your schar bizroa. I deserve it. I earned it. But now it comes, God's like, okay, you know what? You don't earn it so much, but I'll help you out. So you help me. It's already not me doing it. It's already God doing it. It's already a mix. That's already watered down. But ideally, in the ultimate level, there's no niceties. It's pure din. That's the side of din. That's side of fire. That's H, that's Torah. Okay. Now, on the southern side, if you climb up the ladder on the southern side of tshuva, you get to the spiritual root, spiritual source of water. Find water goes together with rachamim and mercy. Okay. On the western side, if you climb up the spiritual roots, you get to the spiritual roots of dirt, earth.
On the side, the west.
That's the west.
Isn't it south?
What does water have to do with
What?
tshuva?
Water is racham, mercy. Mercy and chesed.
Water heals.
You find that in other places. And on the northern side,
And what was the earth in the west?
hold on 1 second. On the northern side, if you climb up there to its spiritual roots, you will find the air. In other words, if you go up the ladder, how many angels you have to go to, on the, let's say, southern side, there is a spiritual thing, that power is called water. From that power called water, which is very spiritual, it goes down level after level after level, which are things that are more and more and more physical, or should I call them maybe less and less and less spiritual, until it ultimately comes to our world in the form of water. So we look at a glass of water, not the glass part of it, but the water part of it, a puddle, whatever, the water, the roots of that water, if you trace it back, are on the side of the south, which is something called water, mine. And the same is true with the east, with the fire. The roots of fire exists in this world because if you trace it back up, on the eastern side, you get the power of fire. Doesn't mean it's a flame, it's a source of an angel, whatever you call it, a koach, and that is the side of fire. Now the emes that means you have all four elements. You have all four elements, and melee, everything in this world is a mix of the four. You can, as they come down here, maybe they can merge. That's what it comes down to. Okay, so you have fire in the east, water in the south, earth in the west, and air in the north. That's all four elements. Fine. Now,
Which midah do earth and air represent?
which midah? We said it. The west is gvura, is strength,
How does strength get
and could be more substance. The only thing you can touch, water you can barely touch, and well, and fire, I guess, is also less tangible.
Earth is Gvura.
Earth is Gvur, yeah. I'm saying it's smart. It all lines up.
Air is darkness then?
And air is darkness, even less tangible. It's like nothing really.
That's true, because
That's we find that the Risha will disappear like a cloud. There's nothing really to talk about how Rishas looked like big and powerful. Unless you get to a cloud, there's nothing really there. That's the
Ramban, there's a Ramban about in Ezekiel that says they're made up of fire and air.
right. Only
So
two of the
they're
elements.
half Torah and they're half darkness. Like they're
Okay, but he says that. He says it only made out of two of the elements.
yeah, they only feel the element.
Okay, so the northern side of air. So you have all four elements. Okay, now you're climbing up the ladder, right? You went down from our physical world of the table, which would be from the, let's say, western side, and the water is from the southern side. Coffee's been stuff in the middle somewhere, and all the four elements. You climb up until you get to the higher and higher, more and more spiritual beings, until you get to the source of fire, water, earth, and air. Okay, right. And by the way, that's what we say. For example, we say that God in the second day differentiated between water and water. It does not mean, in this past, does not mean clouds and ocean, because clouds is this water. So the upper water is what the Chumash calls Maim. That's really Maim. What we have down here is only a manifestation of Maim, because it went down all the levels till it got to us. Nebuch, we're in the most physical level, that's our Maim. But the real Maim is up there. Okay, that's all four elements, fine. You get to these four powerful elements, which are the source of everything in this world. Because these four elements are, everything in this world is from a mix of the four. Now we go higher than that, higher up. Okay, so we're above the elements, next levels, right? Angel after angel after angel, go keep one higher up till you get to the next level. You get next level, the roots of the eastern side, which is Torah, which is the roots of fire, is the angel Gavriel. Gavriel is Aish, right? Din. Gavriel is Din, Aish, it goes together. The southern side, who's the mercy?
Shirian.
What? No. Which? Michael. Michael is the angel of Rachamim.
It's like we say Kriyat
It's the water. Yeah. We'll see how it comes together. Then the western side is Raphael, and the northern side is Gavriel. We said it's a machlok. We're going to go with one opinion over here. Gavriel we said Gavriel was the Din, is in the eastern side, and who's in the north? You have Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, and who? Not Uziel.
Angels?
What?
The Satans?
I think that's the Christian name.
No, Azrael.
Which one?
Which one is the new?
Which one? What side?
I don't want to say
Uriel.
I said that.
I thought we were expecting a
Uziel is not that. Uriel is the source of air. Avir. Avir is air. Uriel.
The Fanay. The Francis area.
Okay.
So you're saying it's like Kriyat Shema, it's not like Kriyat Shema.
What? How is the order different? There's a machlokes amongst the
Kriyat Shema is the
Kabbalah.
fun area.
Oh, so there's a machlokes amongst the Kabbalah between Gavriel and Uriel, the east and the north. I went with one malach, but there's a machlokes between the two. How that's machlokes, I don't know.
It's a four horse.
Okay.
The west?
The west, the way we're going to learn, the west is Raphael, and the north is Uriel. Now, so you get higher roots. The spiritual roots of our water ultimately is force called water, and the spiritual roots of that is the angel of Michael. Okay, I hope I have the order correct. I think it's the order that's correct. Now we keep going higher than that. So you're going above the four angels and all of Malachim. You keep going higher up. Now you keep going up there, and on the eastern side you get to the side of the lion. Hence, who's the side of the lion? So the eastern side is the power of the lion.
Oh, we're talking about angles now?
The southern side of mercy is the power of
Serpents.
of man.
Eagle.
Yaakov's face.
Look at that cover.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
The western side is
A rock.
Power of Torah.
Eagle.
no. The west is the ox, and the northern side. No,
Serpent.
there's no snake there.
Eagle?
Is the eagle.
What's the
Barrel.
So this we have in 2 weeks from now. If I can find the eagle.
Yeah, American dark side. American Eagle.
You should not be.
So in 2 weeks from now, Baruch. Today's Thursday, almost 2 weeks from now. Oh, Taka, 2 weeks from yesterday. In the Haftarah of the first day, what's Haftarah of first day Shavuos?
Yonah?
No, it's in Kippur in Mincha. What's the Haftarah of the first day of Shavuos? In Israel in one day. The Haftarah of the first day of Shavuos.
Just keep saying Ruth.
Cheskel Aleph, which is Maaseh Merkava. After having the revelation of Har Sinai, we talk about another revelation which describes more details of Maaseh Merkava. That parak is so powerful. They talk about it in Mishnah brings the halacha that normally a person could sit for Haftarah. If you're reading Haftarah, you should stand up for the Haftarah of this. I recommend standing anyway, because otherwise you might fall asleep after a whole night of anyway. But the Mishnah brings, because of the chashivas of Maaseh Merkava, you should stand for the Haftarah. Fine. In here it describes Maaseh Merkava, and it describes the four sides of the chariot, and it says Pnei Adam, which is again Yaakov, Pnei Aryeh, Pnei Shor, and Pnei Nesher. So that God's chariot is has the different sides of chariot, or different beings. Yeah, that's the king of the wild animals is a lion, the king of Stam is man, the king of the domesticated animals is the shore, and the birds is an eagle. I had this kasha. There's two types that are missing on the
Schwartzman fish?
Schwartzman fish, and not on the Kisei Kavod. I thought I saw once of shot.
Why do you want Schwartzman fish on the thing?
I don't know why. I'm saying.
Wait, why is there kasha saying that it should be?
I don't know if it's a kasha. That's something that I wondered on it. Why are fish?
Those
like
represent
that?
them. No,
Why is there no fish on the?
Why does there
Why
have to
should
be?
You say something. Why is there no
No what?
They weren't on the
anything
table.
else?
Why does there have to be fish? Because they weren't on the table.
Dinosaur? Why are there no unicorns?
No, those are. You
represented
have
by-
animals. You have birds. You have man. You have wild and domesticated animals.
There's kingdoms.
It's called, yeah. As far as the types, Schwartzim, got a ton of Schwartzim are.
So what's it?
Whatever, I don't know.
Which one is the user?
Between ox and a lamb.
Huh?
What are
Rabbi, go for me like
It's a guy with a baby.
It's the.
Do you like spiders? Do you like gods?
Would you want a cockroach on yours?
It's faster.
Okay, fine, later. Fine, let's be on this anyway. Okay, so again, you climb up, so we're in the source of the angels, which is the source of the fire, which is the source of fire in this world. All four sides like that. Okay, now, so now we're up to Maaseh Merkava. The Merkava itself, God's throne, the four sides of God's throne. Keep going. It's like, how far can you get already, you know?
Okay, I don't have
Climb
on the page.
Climb up above the Chayos, which are supporting the throne, or are the throne. I'm talking about supporting the throne. Keep going higher up.
The armrests.
Armrest.
What's next?
The actual
When are we going to God?
the cushion.
The cushion?
You never get to God.
The crown?
What?
God is,
Next
God
to
is the ultimate.
The
Climb up more, you get the stitches.
What is
Climb
crown?
of the sea.
no, I don't know. There's 10 types of angels, by the way, and the Rambam lists them. There's an order of greatness in angels.
Wait, where's
The Chayos are the ones that are way up there. What?
Where's the king of angels? Where is he?
Metatron?
Whatever. Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Numero uno.
Yeah.
Numero chief, bro.
Fine. You have Sandalphon. You have some of the big ones up there.
Where is he?
Fine. Now you go up higher than the lion and the lion, man, ox, and eagle. Higher than the throne, and you get to on the eastern side is the side of the power of Yud. Now you know where it's heading. The southern side is a hay.
Wait, can I write this?
I don't know.
Vav. And then what's the north side?
The west is the side of the Vav,
What's north?
and the north is the second hay.
Oh, that's cheating. Wait.
Write it in English. Write it in English.
I don't know. I guess you could.
How can north and south?
It's not in a sentence. Mustafa, you could. I'm just afraid of.
It's come like this.
Yeah, it's four different things.
I don't know. So do it, and I do
Can you write it in
English. You can do, yeah, English stuffing.
What?
YKHK.
That way?
South is hay.
So again, east is Yud, south is the first hay,
North and south of both.
west is the
If
Vav,
I do it like
and north is
Yud K Vav K.
I don't know.
So eventually you trace
north.
fire
One second.
to
North is
Yeah.
north is the second hay. The two hays are not the same. Meaning to say that there's two different kochos over here. If you want to add in, if you want to add in, there's the two hays are not the same. Two different kochos, two different forces. If you want to add in on the side, because this gets more complicated and it's hard to fit everything in. Stam, we don't understand where it fits in, but just for those of you, just to have the fun with it, so to speak. You know, there's the 10 spheres.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
where's that fit in here?
So where does that fit in?
It's on top of that.
No, because the
There's
Yud, because the 10 spheres are, you have Keser, Chochmah, Bina are the higher three. that are more abstract.
Sure.
Then you have the lower 7, which already we could quote unquote relate to, which is Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod Yesod, Malchus, right? But no, yeah. Now, the Yud is Chachma, and the first Hey is, it's getting a little bit too much already, is Bina, and those are called the father and mother. Because from them come the lower 7, which are, so to speak, the children. The Vav is Tiferes, because everything revolves around that. And that feeds into the Malchus, which is the lower Hey, which feeds into the world. In other words, Bina and Chachma, God feeds into those, which relates into Tiferes, connects to the other ones. Then through Yesod connects to Malchus, and that goes into this world. Middle four. Right, so it's Yod and a K, hey? Skip that part.
Forget this whole thing.
Yeah. Now it says, if you look at
Yud K is Chachma.
if you look at those of us who are still reveling and still have the leftovers of the Heilige Lag BaOmer, it took a week to get back here. It was still penetrating in. So is Malchus. So if you look at Bar Yochai, the song, it's based on that. If you look at the stuff in the song, you'll see it lines up. The words. Now, one second. Now, the Yud and the Hey is I wasn't going to mention this. I'm saying for the side.
The Yud and Hey are Chachma.
The Yud and the Hey are Chacham and Bina, and the Vav and the second Hey are Tiferes and Malchus. Fine now. But that's aside. Put that aside. Now, but I'll tell you something interesting though. This gets interesting now, because the last Hey gets its koach from the Vav. Malchus Kvitis from the Tiferes. And the Vav gets its koach from the first Hey. And the first Hey gets its koach from the Yud, which is Chachma. And the Yud gets its koach from the Kutzo Shel Yud. Because when you write a Yud in Halacha, in a Sefer Torah, there's something called the point of the Yud. The point is machlokas, a three-way machlokas where the point is. We're machmir in a Sefer Torah, all three opinions. If you look at the way we read a Sefer Torah, the way you basically write a Yud is like that. And you have a point, 1, 2, and 3. So three machlokas where the Yuds are. So not all three opinions.
Point the camera.
But whatever it is exactly, wherever exactly is. So you do?
How can you do all three at once?
Yes, you do. You write it in a way where the Yuds are opinions.
So the point
like this.
You make it meet?
No, you have a line and then you have it come down. So you have the top one, the bottom one, and the thing. I think that Al-Pi levels of Kabbalah, they're all go together. They're not a machlokas with each other. But that's what we do. I'm just pointing out that the Yud stems from the Kutzos Yud, which is Keser, which is already the most abstract, which is one that Shumai Chayil, or whatever, it's the first thing in the Shumai. In the Bar Yochai song, that first line, I forgot how the first line goes. Oh. You can look at it. You can look at yourself. It matches up. Okay. Now, so therefore, it works like this. And now the Keser connects to the Ein Sof. Now we spoke about Nefesh Chaim. So we learned Nefesh Chaim that to understand how God connects to anything is beyond our understanding. Because God Himself cannot connect. Because God Himself cannot connect to anything else ultimately, because He is ultimate in unlimitedness, etc., etc. So we're not going to deal with how it works. But however God works is beyond us. We're not going to deal with it. I mean, it's not a track to deal with. But the Maisa, as far as our a human being's limited understanding and our zero understanding, the way we're going to pretend to talk about it is that God, in the Ein Sof is called, the unlimited, feeds into the Keser, the Kutzo, the point of the Yud, from there into the Yud itself, then into the Hey, from there to the Vav, from there to the other Hey, and then starts the downhill, not going to call downhill, but down the ladder. And then as it goes down, it gets to the four sides of the chariot, which is less spiritual than the higher forces, and that keeps going down until it gets to the angels, down to the elements, down to this world. Nothing is outside of God's control. Because ultimately, if you follow the trace it back up to the roots, it's all from God. That's how this world works. Now, this is where it gets unbelievable.
This is where it gets unbelievable.
Listen. Now, I have to put up like this. So I want to finish. A few minutes, I want to finish up. Now, listen. A Jewish person, this is where the Gerim is problematic. A Jewish person has a neshama, right? The neshama is a God-created being that's not physical. God merged a physical with a spiritual. That's one of these things you say, is the wondrous that he does, that he somehow merges the spiritual and physical, don't go together. God somehow makes them to go together. Fine. But I said that's the neshama is what the person's essence is, and the guf is a clothing. The person dies, take off the guf, and then that's how it works. Okay, now, but your essence is the neshama. Now, neshama is a real thing. The neshama, it says, is carved out of. It's not. Let me clarify. It's not a part of God. I think it's pashat. I think it's pashat kfira daraisa. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to kill you. If you say that. So I want to finish. If you say that. If we say that, I think it's kfira mamish.
What do you mean?
Because God is echad pashut. When we say Hashem echad, it doesn't only mean there's one God, not two God, but it means that there's God is the ultimate in oneness, and nothing else is one like God. That's oneness is God. Once you say that God has parts, you're already entering the realm of kfira daraisa. Therefore, like it says, for example, everyone quotes the famous Zohar. What's the Zohar? That God blew into Adam Rishon a neshama. So man de nafach midilei nafach. It's a famous line, right? When a person blows, you come from yourself. As when your breath comes from yourself. So when he blew into God, when God blew into neshama, into Adam Rishon, from himself he blew. It doesn't mean it's part of God. Your breath is not part of you. If you breathe out, you still exist. It's within you. It's created by you. It's whatever you want to call it, connected to you. However you want to say it, but it's not you. God is not a have parts. It's not pshat that we're all part of God. It's not shaykh. We are creations of God, but we are carved out of, so to speak, what this means, kisei hakavod. Now, you have a neshama. You have the neshama of this Jew. This Jew happens, his family, his cousins, his uncles, his brother family, he happens to be of the tribe of Yehuda. So it broadens and broadens and broadens, so the whole tribe of Yehuda. Those neshamas go together, all those neshamas together are the power of Malchus. Then you have Yisachar. All those neshama together are the power of Torah. It's not a fake, it's a real thing. That's the koch neshama has. Zvulun is wealth. Put it together, the power of the east, when Klal Yisrael camped in the desert, is the power of Torah. It's not pshat that, I represent Torah. No. That is your neshama. And the south is tshuva, that's your neshama. Now you put the pieces of the puzzle together. You put the pieces together. So what do you have over here? You have the powers that are what? The source of this, which are the source of that, the source of that. When you recreate, if you have those powers down here, what have you recreated? The kisei hakavod. The kisei hakavod in this world. And maybe God could leave his up there kisei hakavod and rest his shechina on this kisei hakavod. When Klal Yisrael was camped in the desert, they were not a copy, not a replica, not a fake, but an actual kisei hakavod, like the one up there. Man, God could leave that one sit over here. In come the umos ha'olam. In come the non-Jews, the wise men. I don't know what the simple people knew, but the wise men of the non-Jews. And they go to the desert, and they got to see what's out there. And they take a mizos olam in a midbar, they said. Who is that? How is it possible? What was the problem? They saw the kisei hakavod down here. How is it shayach? And the truth is they're right. Why? They can't do it. Why can't they do it?
They
don't have these neshamas. They don't have what it takes to create a kisei. You don't have it. So it's not fathomable. They looked and they were like blown away. What is that? How is it possible? They knew what they were looking at and they couldn't fathom how it's possible for humans to have that. We're physical beings. Now, as she taught some, according to they were right. You can't. You're right. You can't. You have no relation to it. You have no neshama from the kisei hakavod. But Jews have it. So Mela, we could recreate the kisei hakavod. When Klal Yisrael was in the desert, God rested his shechina on us because we were the kisei hakavod. Now, one last piece. That being the case, where do we come from? Right? That means we're also part of the kisei hakavod. And if Klal Yisrael comes together where we're supposed to be, God's going to once again leave the upstairs kisei and rest on his downstairs kisei.
Having that in mind, you could say
We're not part of God. A kisei is not God.
Part of his kisei.
It's a creation of God. He'll rest on us, whatever that means.
What does that mean?
A portion of a low cut, not your kivavke. It's not God himself. We don't deal with God himself. Echad pashut. That's the fact. That doesn't change.
And Selim
That means something else. Not the same thing. That's pashut. That's even the first we're talking about.
So we don't know what shaven we're from.
Okay, so nowadays maybe we're messed up. we're not living in the right places, we're not doing the right thing, we're all a mix. You know what I'm saying? You have Binyamin living over there and Yehud over there, and all everything's all messed up. Okay, Nechanami, so we're waiting for Mashiach to come. But when it comes down, if you're looking at all of us to put it to where we're supposed to be, God is going to rest a Shekhinah on us. But it still means, even though I don't know who I'm from, Lamaisa, I'm a part of this. Whatever Shevet I'm from, I've got a part of me that is a chelik of the Kisei HaKavod. I am, not just part of me, I am the part of the Kisei HaKavod.